Hello and welcome into the very first podcast, whatever it's called. I'm DockerDan, looking to 2026, where I'll be doing a weekly review of every player on the Anchor Game Review. But first, before I get everything set up, we've got to the end of our ins and outs. So I wanted to have a quick look at it, give you my thoughts of it all. And just going over and having a look at what we got, because originally, there's a lot of people in the media saying, oh, it's a near perfect list, where I tend to disagree. We've got strong players, and majority of them are very young, but as it comes to once we lost Lockie Schultz, we sort of lost a lot of that pressure in our forward line. We're looking at smaller players as such in our forward line. We've got Dudley. Now, he's not a pressure forward. He's more of a opportunist. I don't remember a game where he put back to back pressure acts on. Maybe after a season, a proper off season, he might get that fitness. Frederick, yes, he's quick, but again, I don't think he's a tackle machine. He's easy to break. The only time he's good is when he's running behind someone and he catches them. If we keep going up, Cooper Simpson's now playing in the back line. The bonus that we did have was the pressure that Patrick Voss and Josh Tracy put on. Murphy Reed, again, very good opportunist. Tackle pressure, not there. I know it's his first year. He's actually quite quick. He doesn't look quick, but the pressure, again, isn't there. And Bolton, look, we remember that game against Gold Coast. For someone that's come in as an opportunist, he's got better pressure than Dudley, Reed, and Frederick combined, because he's got that aggro in him when he tackles. Walters is retired. So, as it comes to small forwards, and how can I forget Switkowski? But, I mean, if we look at Switkowski and the games, I mean, you can't book him into play every game, right? And last year he was down on his tackles. Now, the reason I bring up tackling in the forward line is because if you've got people up there that are knocking the ball to ground, what's the point of having small forwards that don't tackle, right? So he's there, 3.1. When he plays, he's good, right? So I'd put him as our best tackler. Let's go have a quick look at the other ones then while we're in here. Breaking it down, let's have a look at Dudley. Player statistics. Now, his tackles is 1.8. That's below average, especially for a small forward. I don't know what this is being compared as, but again, maybe a bit of fitness, he comes back up. And even as an opportunist, I mean, 0.9 goals. Look, I know he's small, but he's still on an AFL list, and I do like him. Just because I'm pointing it out doesn't mean I don't like them. But this is what I want to do on this channel, is go in and actually look in depth. And I'm not an expert at it. I've just been a fan now since 1996, 97. So if we look at Frederick here, here's the next one. He's a bit bigger, but 2.3. All right, that is just an average. Goals are good, except for that one that he missed, and everyone's going to go on about that. But he had a good year. However, tackling is down in his career. He's below average. So we haven't had one yet above average. And these are the small guys. These are the guys that are in there for pressure and opportunities. Pressure creates opportunities, right? So they could score more goals if they chase. So now let's look at this guy here, who we put in the tackles. 1.8 for his role. That is above and beyond, right? 44, 44, 44. We're going to go do a player in depth, I reckon, for each player. But right now, I'm just trying to reinforce what I think was a hole in our forward line, right? The small forward, ever since Lockie Schultz went, tackles 2. Small forward, half forward flank, that's average. Career, it's below. So again, look, loved his work. A goal a game first year, his decision making, and I guess he's not in there as a tackler. But how many people aren't in there as a tackler? So then we come up here, let's have a quick look at Pat Voss, because again, his pressure, we might have to look at pressure racks when we go in, 2.2. So again, his tackling's higher than everyone's but Switkowski's, I think. That's your big forward. And they hurt when they hit too, which is good. All right, let's have a look at Bolton. I think his tackles are up. So there you go, 2.6. Still only average, right? I don't know if they're taking that as a midfielder or as a forward because he plays both roles. I don't know if it's tied into whatever it's put up there. So we'll do a deeper dive on that. So he's at 2.6. Again, as I thought, he was probably our best tackler. And then that might be it. And we just have a look at this guy's overall, his career. Well, they cleared him out already, have they? Not the biggest, but look at that season there. When he had his best season, second best season goal-wise, but you could argue overall at, these sorts of disposals, 40 goals, 17, he had his best output. Tackling creates opportunities for these small forwards. That's why they're in there. Now, which brings me to the other one that I have a little bit of a worry about is our wingman. And I still think that is up there as our biggest, maybe second biggest in my eyes. Depends how you look at it. Issue that we have, right? So O'Meara is getting old. And as long as he's playing, other people aren't. He's not going to get any better. The whole team's young. You've got these guys here like Brayshaw and Sarong now that are hitting an age where they're leaders. Do you need the old heads like this anymore? I don't know. So you got him playing on a wing at some stage. You had him playing on a wing. He can't get back into the team for whatever reason. Where's our other wingman? This is the problem. You've got him running out on the wing when he's not a wingman. Just trying to find a spot for him. O'Driscoll looked like early on in his career that he was going to absolutely just be something else. So this season here, right? His first proper season. Look, what's that averaging there? He's averaging about 12, 13 a game. Doesn't matter. He's kicking a goal nearly every game. And they were brilliant goals. Now, this season he found more of it. They tried him as a big-bodied midfielder for a little bit. I still liked that season better when he was on the opposite wing of Blake Acres, who was a good wingman, and they should have just given him the extra $50,000 a year and kept him. So that there leaves us with who was playing on the other wing. Johnson. Where's our wingman? You know what I mean? Where is the wingman? I feel like you need specialist wingmen in this. I don't know why, if he can't get a game, you can't put someone who has a bit of speed, bit of height, good disposal. Like, Why aren't they? Why isn't someone like him, who might have lost this spot in the back line permanently, with, you know, someone like McVie and that coming in? So, with that being said, let's go have a look at who we got in, who we got out. So the first ones that we got in was Adam Swade. Now, I've watched the interview. I've watched his highlights. I don't know if I can actually watch the highlights on here. But this guy here, um, he looks good. X Factor. And he's quick. Does he like to tackle? Yes, he does. He only had one game there where he was actually playing in the VFL for Essendon. Look, 17 or whatever he was, later tackle, but again, it doesn't show complete pressure stats. So that's what pressure 2 leads to tackles. So at this level, 5.2, that's dropped down to 2.8. There, 4.8. So when he's playing full amount of games, he's got speed and he's got X factor. So he says a midfielder, but I'm hoping he gets a shot at the front. Absolutely drafted great there. And another Victorian, which I like. And then Tobin Murray. So basically, yeah, Adam Swede, midfielder, small forward. Tobin Murray played this season as a small forward. 1.9 tackles. He doesn't look that quick, but they do say he is quick. Whereas, he's averaging 15 disposals. And where's his goals? Where's his scores? Average 1.3. So, not bad. Like, that's pretty good. He's a little bit older. He'll be, 21 or so by the time we start next year. Again, another small forward coming in. Then we go down to here, which I'm absolutely pumped about. Absolutely pumped. Leon Kickett. How good is it to get a Kickett back on our list? Like, I remember that. The times, those early 90s, early inception in the late 90s. Dale Kickett was one of my favourite. And that was before he went off and started, smacking up Phil Reid. So, go over here. There's not too much information, and I haven't seen much from the club except after day 2. 173 centimetres, but he's dynamic. He is got that X factor. There was a clip in here, not this one. I don't want to show it all, but we just try and get pressure between 2 or 3. That little unselfish tap out that he's done. This goal shook. See that? He shook one way. He shook one way and then back around on the right. Just that little quick. You can't teach that, right? And then there was another one where he just goaled from nothing. This one here, he takes 3 or 4 bounces and just slots it. And it's more difficult to do in these stadiums that don't have protection for the ball, but he just knows what to do. Knows his kicking style. Look at that little push off, and he finds the man there. Now I want to find this. This is just a couple of good rundown. This one here. Look at this. Just knows where they are, right? Anyways, absolutely pumped to have him. Bit of X factor. And if you're not going to have Cozzy Pickett, then let's take Leon Kickett. Absolutely pumped to have someone like that come down. And, he does not need to bulk up much to make an impact. So I think having someone like that is a really good pickup. So then back to the next ones, we've got our Cat Bs as well, um, which were Toby One. Now I had a little bit of look at Toby One. He's a wingman, and they're saying that he could be ready to go. He's been in the system a very, very long time. Now we've had a few come through on I guess through our academy, and they've actually played or given an opportunity. So for me, again, let's turn this down. Finding the man, providing that run. Okay, I mean that's specky, but and he kicks a long goal. Look at that for a kick. And if you look at that in the background, there's no wind. So that's just roosted from 50, carries to the fence. So that's 60, the run around. Again, he loves a goal, but I'm trying to find the highlights where he's finding the man, you know what I mean? Like, what a wingman. This one here. All right, gets it in traffic on the left foot, spots it. That dude doesn't break stride. Gets it, keeps going. Little sidestep, smart, gets it back. Now I know these are just against Colts, but finds the man. All right, so we've got ourselves the wingman. Not look, is he going to make it at AFL just because he looks good against the other teenagers? But hey, at least we've got something there to try. And then finally, Ryder Luke. I heard that he's got a fair bit of like development, but he could be very good. So finally, we'll go have a look at Ryder Luke. I don't want to look at the highlights. I want to look at him as a player. I think if we go down, oh, here we go. Ryder Luke, there we go. Here he is. He's only 18, just turned 185. Powerful Indigenous medium forward from Mundijong who can make an impact with limited disposals. He boasts strong hands, tackle pressure, and good skills on both sides of the body. He kicked 8 goals in a half for the Colts. State draft. Look, it's the state draft. Again, starts every time. Now, his were a little bit more, I guess, like he just is just finishing the work, you know what I mean? When I was flicking through, I didn't see too much. Look, smart body use. But yeah, so, oh, that's right. What I did like was his finishing in the wet, right? Sloppy ground, turns on his left. Every other goal's being with his right, straight through the middle in the beaming rain. Bit of pressure there. He gets it here and then he finds a man. So he's not thinking goals all the time, he's thinking team. So look, happy with Cat B and that. So who else did we pick up? So we've covered them. Hang on, where is it? Ins and outs. Oh, that doesn't include McVee and Mason Cox. As annoying as he was at Collingwood, I think he'll serve a good purpose for us. Reedy's probably something that Carlton need, not something that we needed. Darcy's not going to play the entire year. So it would be good to keep Voss and Tracy in the forward line and not having to play as backup ruckman when they tackle like small forwards. Means you could maybe play Mason Cox up that end of the ground because he can take a mark and kick a goal. Whereas Reedy couldn't. So let me just quickly bring up Mason Cox. Let's just have a quick look at his marking. Done deal. He's definitely coming over. Maybe, we might just have to go to Carlton's. And then Jack McVie. We'll cover him in the next one. But while I'm here talking about it, we're just going to have to do that, aren't we? So let's go AFL stats. That's not what I was looking for. How about I just go straight to Collingwood? Ugh, gross. Got to go to another teams. What number was he? I can't even remember. Mason Cox, there he is, 46, Clancy Pearce's old number. So, look, statistically, not the best, right? But he's kicked a fair few goals. You know, he's, for someone that was like a backup ruckman, having that many goals per game, not too bad, you know. The marks, I don't know how in depth we can get here, but look, as a backup on not much money at all, a very good option, I think, anyways. So yeah, that's what we'll do. On the next one, we'll probably go through the list. I'll probably go through and rate everyone in the last season as we go ahead, and work towards that. There's a little bit of a sample of what's coming. We've got player ratings where they'll be anchored. They're the ones that are sort of struggling each week, the bottom 6. Anchors Aweigh, the ones that are, doing their thing and they're full sail, are going to be the ones that are obviously the top 6. And just for a bit of fun, the coach is going to be involved because as Dockers fans, people like to say that we're very harsh on our coach, but I reckon let's put him in the ratings each week so we can actually sit back at the end of the year and think, were we harsh on him or is it deserved? So anyways, thank you very much for watching the very first, or listening to, the very first DockerDan podcast, review, whatever it is. I don't know what it's called. I'm just making it. Thank you very much for watching and we'll catch you in the next video.